Okay, so what I'm going to share with you is my experience of inner silence in the past 10 years and how it unfolded and the remarkable things that have happened when I began to experience the inner silence and then stillness and eventually something much more profound and powerful. This journey was not planned, and there's no framework that I had set out because I had tried all the frameworks. I had tried self help, and I'm talking about emotional, mental, physical, financial, social health, and crisis all at once, including acute loneliness, depression, all of that. So, what happens when you are done trying and looking outside, trying to change the people, circumstances, or when you're done trying to find solutions in the outside world, you are forced to look within. And that's what is the first milestone of this journey. When you look inside, you see a chaos within, and it requires courage to see that chaos as it is. So my first experience of looking inward at my own self, my perception, my thoughts, my emotions, it was a crisis. It was a chaos, definitely. But at least I was not trying to find a solution at this time. What happened immediately was the outside noise got silenced. I was not looking for solutions, and I found that even though this experience is not pleasant, looking at your own self within, at least it's not getting worse. At least I am not assuming the layers of the perceptions from the world outside. So that's the first stage. When you look within, I found there are two most powerful words and the powerful, I'd say, illusions that um, are the greatest blocks, the greatest obstacles in our lives from living a life of fulfillment, joy, contentment, and all that. And these two words are I am and I know. And the truth that I realized was you are when this I am disappears. The sense of isolation, the sense of fragmentation, when that dissolves, you begin to experience that you are part of the play. You are not just alone and fragmented. You are just part of the whole universal play there is. And the second word is I know. But the reality I found was this is the biggest obstacle. Ignorance is the biggest enemy of mankind. We don't know anything, and yet we behave and we try to do things as if we know. And no wonder we are in chaos, a lot of us. So that's the first stage. So the second stage is the shedding of your ego and trying to replace the ignorance with humility that you don't know. And as soon as you do that, a lot changes. And you realize that you're not alone, first of all. This idea of I am, therefore the world is, not so true. The world is, and you are part of that. You are a little tiny fraction of this universal consciousness, because that's what we are. And the second word, the release or the letting go of the ignorance, reveals that we have a long way to go, but at least we are in the right direction. The longing to know arises, and so do the possibilities. So this is when the shedding of false ideas, false perceptions, that happens, that begins, because a lot of times we are assuming, even if we don't know it, even if we are oblivious to the fact that we are acquiring the layers of perceptions of the world around us. So in a way, we are expected to behave in a certain way depending upon where we are. And we assume that to be our identity. We assume that to be our perception, which is which might be useful but not true, not your true self. So moment by moment, and as the time passes, you begin to shed off these false perceptions. So that's the shift from silence, and this is not a vow of silence. This is the inner silence that I'm speaking about, when you're not asking questions, you're not trying to find answers, you're not making any efforts at all. You are just experiencing things as they are, you're just looking at things as they are, and this revelation changes everything. So this, I'd say, second phase of your silence reveals that you're not alone and you know nothing. And then comes the third phase, and in my experience, when I had retreated to complete isolation, and I'm saying physical isolation. So I started to spend a lot of time in the mountains alone. I found a quiet spot. So as the shift began and the inner silence became more and more prominent, I realized that the efforts that I was making into finding solutions or fixing things, my financial, or at least getting ideas how to fix something, I found that the more I tried, the more chaotic it became, because I was trying from a sense of borrowed or a false perception, and I was getting wrong ideas. So the more I tried, I was getting false ideas, and obviously they didn't work, but I got more. It was like a swamp. So silence gives you clarity when you begin that phase of inner silence, and the art of not trying to find a solution, because not trying to at least ask questions, because there is a power in silence, there is clarity in silence. Then gradually what happened was, from silence, I realized, and this happened over a couple of months, I was transitioning to little stillness. And what does it mean? So I'm not using stillness in a vague context. The stillness in my behavior, the stillness in my thoughts, they were not abrupt, they were not intense, and they were not definitely driven by desperation or a false understanding of the world around and inside. So this quiet stillness began, and at the same time, I was also shedding off day by day all the layers of my false perception. So the ideas became clearer, the thoughts became much more neutral, and I'm able to say this now, but at the time, I didn't think this was stillness. I just thought I felt better in all ways, emotionally, mentally, physical healing took some time, because I was also going through, and I'm still incurable disease, which is spondylitis, form of an arthritis, but this the body has healed, even though the disease may have its footprints, but there's no pain and suffering. So all that happened from silence to stillness, and that was remarkable. And if I was impatient, I would have said, wow, this is great and this is enough. But fortunately, I didn't stop there. Even though things became better, one thing that truly began to happen was, I was going through a process of burning, as I now understand it correctly. Was burning is the right word. What it meant was, I was supposed to undergo a process of burning my ego completely, my false ideas, my ignorance, and everything else that held me down. So within this process, when you look at your thoughts, the quality of your thoughts, was there jealousy, was there ego, was there hate, was there anger? It was all there, and it still is there in each one of us. But the process of burning, what it does to you is it burns the active anger, it burns the quality of thoughts that you experience. They begin to purify. So you may still have anger, you may still have hate, you may still have jealousy or anything else. Your thoughts are not subjected to them anymore unless it's required. So what it meant was there's no unnecessary baggage. I was not overthinking, and it happens. So it begins to influence who you are becoming, because understand, we are in the process of becoming every moment. When I started this conversation and the moment we are in now, I have become somebody, and that level of uninterrupted, flawless awareness is making all the difference, because that's what we are. We are this ever flowing, ever moving raw consciousness. So I realized that I was undergoing a process of burning, purification of my thoughts, my experiences, my energy, and that was the greater shift. Now, I was not asking questions. I was not going through any guidance by a guru. I had never had a formal guru, and I'm not proud of that. Things would have been easier. Maybe not a guru, but a mentor, because I believe and I have experienced that a teacher helps you find your own teacher. A teacher is your guide with a spotlight, with a flashlight, who points you in the right direction. Then comes the next and very important stage, when you get over your physical, the loop of physical pain and pleasure, the loop of emotional pain and emotional pleasure, and mental pain and pleasure. Even though that is a vast, those three layers are the vast layers that most people spend their lifetimes in being trapped. I'm saying trap because, and it might give a negative connotation to it, but it is not. We are supposed to go through the layers of our physical, emotional, and mental bodies, mental energies. For example, for some people, title is all there is, power is all there is, money is all there is. While these things are important, but when we stop at that one particular point, let's say start chasing money, we are in a way stopping at that level of chasing money, because the idea of money being everything has put us in the loop. More money, more pleasure; less money, pain, or sorrow, sadness. But the next experience, the next layer of transformation, and it is only possible when you experience a certain level of stillness. I've already explained what stillness truly feels like and means. Stillness in your thoughts, your energy, and more or less completely unaffected by the events that are taking place in lives, what people say, what people do, unless there is a threat to your physical safety. You're completely unaffected, detached to an extent, but does that mean you have to renounce the world? Absolutely not. You can still be in the world and be detached and remain still, which is what a lot of people which is what I think peace is. Finding it inside and not chasing in relationships and things outside. So that's what stillness feels like. But is that all there is to stillness? Absolutely not. Because now is the time we are beginning to enter into the fourth layer of our experience, which is our subtle energy. So we spoke about physical, emotional, and mental layers. Now we are entering the fourth layer, which is our subtle energy, the subtle vibrations. And this is beautiful because this transcends all the rationalities and logic and ideas and intelligence. Intelligence still play a part, but now we are beginning to experience something more profound, which is that we're beginning to realize that we are a raw consciousness. We are experiencing something that cannot be explained by logics and rationality, such as you begin to experience waves of bliss. It becomes more prominent as you evolve, but waves of bliss like moments, tears rolling down your cheeks, or just a gentle grin for no reason, and a rise of energy. So, this raw consciousness that we are is incomplete without something more profound, which is the subtle and the spiritual energy. And now is what we talk about, the masculine and the feminine, the divine energies, raw consciousness, and the creation, the Shiva and Shakti, as we know in Hinduism, but and in many parts of the world actually. But what's interesting is all that burning phase that you went through was for this moment, because what you were doing is you were becoming worthy of this perpetual sense of bliss. And this is beyond stillness now, because stillness is now merging with dynamic energy, and you are beginning to experience fearlessness. You're beginning to experience bliss. You are beginning, or you're entering in a stage where there's no milestone anymore. So at this stage, this raw consciousness and the energy begins to rise, because you are somewhat worthy of it. But understand, we are human beings. We are still subjected to anger, negative thoughts, and negative things, and hate, and all that. And once you begin your journey on this path, you will realize that every time there, or even if there is the slightest grain of negativity, or grain of darkness, grain of anything that doesn't belong to you, anything that is not the true you, you feel that is going to be burned. But there's no more suffering, there's no more pain. It's all blissful. And that's what my journey has been like. It's still going on, by the way. Don't I don't think I am some kind of enlightened being or a guru. What I have experienced is different stages of burning my ego, my ignorance, becoming worthy of experiencing something that is much more profound than happiness and joy. It's the universal dynamic energy that has become my shield and stays with me. So why am I sharing all of this? Well, and there's more to my story. The moment of spiritual awakening, which I probably will discuss some other day. And the reason I'm sharing all this is because this is my purpose. This is what I feel I'm meant. This is why I'm here, to share it with people. Not some form of program, not some form of spiritual work, or some meditation. Absolutely nothing. I don't think self-help can be effective. What I am here for, and what I encourage everybody to do, is enter into a state of inner silence. And that's the first step of your transformation. No matter what you are seeking, clarity, peace and strength, and emotional, mental, physical health, absolutely everything else falls in place the moment you set foot on this journey of inner silence. That's the first step. And so what I was thinking about was, in the world that we live today, social media is so powerful that you can reach anybody, anywhere. And I was thinking about inviting more people, and start creating small communities in different parts of the world. So what I think is possible is the more people who either believe in the power of stillness or want to believe, should come together and experience it, even for a day. So, what I thought about last night actually was, what if we could create a ritual of 5 minutes of guided silence? I'm saying guided because there is a process before you experience and before you set foot in the journey of silence. There are some instructions, and of course, that's what I'm here for. But yeah, if you feel that you are in a transition in your life, or you are looking for something profound or something much more lasting, whether that's your emotional, mental, physical health, you're looking for spiritual, you have spiritual longing, um, which I don't think is a planned journey, but if you have that longing, that's a call, and I would love to invite you to experience. If you have some kind of skills that can help us reach more people in different cities, we're starting with Delhi, but I will be on a world tour, sharing my work with other people. So if you want to be part of this, I would invite you to first experience it yourself. I'm going to be sharing my contact number, maybe a link to create this community, and want to invite you to experience at least 5 minutes of pure silence. And that can change absolutely everything. 5 minutes, that's all it takes. I don't want to convince you, but I do want to invite you that this may be a beginning of that big shift that we all deserve, and try to get you out of this trap of, if you are in this trap of these layers of emotional, mental, physical pain and pleasure loop, and experience something profound. So yeah, it's not self-help, it's not some kind of work, it's just simply sitting in silence and letting the universal energy take care of everything. I don't think you need fixing. I just think and believe, and I have experienced it, that all you need is a bit of silence, and that can change absolutely everything. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share, and yeah, I would love your ideas. Do tell me where you are in your life, and what is it that you're longing for. Maybe we find a path together for you. Thank you.